or perhaps offered rewards when they obey us. But don't mistake new means for new ends. The goal continues to be control, even if we secure it with more modern methods. This isn't because we don't care about our kids. It has more to do with being overwhelmed by the countless prosaic pressures of family life, where the need to get children into and out of the bed, bathtub, or car makes it hard to step back and evaluate what we're doing. One problem with just trying to get kids to do what we say is that this may conflict with other, more ambitious goals we have for them. This afternoon, your primary concern for your son may be for him to stop raising a ruckus in the supermarket and accept the fact that you're not going to buy a big colorful box of candy disguised as breakfast cereal. But it's worth digging a little deeper. In the workshops I conduct for parents, I like to start off by asking, what are your long-term objectives for your children? What word or phrase comes to mind to describe how you'd like them to turn out? What you want them to be like once they're grown? Take a moment to think about how you would answer that question. When I invite groups of parents to come up with the most important long-term goals they have for their kids, I hear remarkably similar responses across the country. The list produced by one audience was typical. These parents said they wanted their children to be happy, balanced, independent, fulfilled, productive, self-reliant, responsible, functioning, kind, thoughtful, loving, inquisitive, and confident. What's interesting about that collection of adjectives, and what's useful about the process of reflecting on the question in the first place, is that it challenges us to ask whether what we're doing is consistent with what we really want. Are my everyday practices likely to help my children grow into the kind of people I'd like them to be? Will the things I just said to my child at the supermarket contribute in some small way to her becoming happy and balanced and independent and fulfilled and so on? Or is it possible, gulp, that the way I tend to handle such situations makes those outcomes less likely? If so, what should I be doing instead? If it's too daunting to imagine how your children will turn out many years from now, think about what really matters to you today. Picture yourself standing at a birthday party or in the hall of your child's school. Around the corner are two other parents who don't know you're there. You overhear them talking about your child. Of all the things they might be saying, what would give you the most pleasure? Again, pause for a moment to think of a word or sentence that you would be especially delighted to hear. My guess, and my hope, is that it wouldn't be, "Boy, that child does everything he's told, and you never hear a peep out of him." The crucial question, therefore, is whether we sometimes act as though that is what we care about most. Almost 25 years ago, a social psychologist named Elizabeth Kagan reviewed a bushel of contemporary parenting books and concluded that they mostly reflected a, quote, blanket acceptance of parental prerogative with little serious consideration of a child's needs, feelings, or development. The dominant assumption, she added, seemed to be that the parent's desires are automatically legitimate, and thus the only question open for discussion was how exactly kids could be made to do whatever they're told. Sadly, not much has changed since then. More than 100 parenting books are published in the United States every year, along with countless articles in parenting magazines, and most of them are filled with advice about how to get children to comply with our expectations, how to make them behave, how to train them as though they were pets. Many such guides also offer a pep talk about the need to stand up to kids and assert our power, in some cases explicitly writing off any misgivings we may have about doing so. This slant is reflected even in the titles of recently published books. Don't be afraid to discipline. Parents in charge. Parent in control. Taking charge. Back in control. Disciplining your preschooler and feeling good about it. 'Cause I'm the mommy, that's why. Laying down the law. guilt-free.
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.